Hey, what's up guys? Today we're gonna go and answer some of the most common questions, or maybe not so common questions regarding YouTube ads. We're gonna be answering some questions from some of you guys here in the YouTube ad buyers group on Facebook. And if you haven't joined, again, you're about to start your YouTube advertising, or you're already doing YouTube media buying, then we invite you to join. Lots of great value provided there. And who knows, you may crack the code for running ads for your own specific offer. So let's dive in with the questions. All right, so question one, we got Victor. So Victor asked, is it best to include individual conversion actions when running YouTube ad campaigns? Well, thank you for your question, Victor. Now, regarding the answer, it depends on what you're optimizing for, right? If you have a funnel where you need to track opt-ins, right? Book calls, surveys, then you're gonna wanna include all conversions and then just ensure you have all the tracking in place. And then set up your custom columns the right way to view the conversions within your campaigns on every step of the funnel. Is there anything you want to add to that, Raph?
Sure. So I think the most important thing is that you set up your accounts, your conversions at the account level, whatever you really truly want to track. Because if you're asking me, let's just say you have an e-commerce product and you have an add to cart conversion, a checkout conversion, and a purchase conversion. If you're asking me, hey, I want to set up a campaign with a specific conversion action, just focusing on purchases, for whatever reason, in my experience, when I do that, the campaigns have performed worse. So my advice for now would be to, if you set up an add to cart, checkout, and purchase, just leave it at the account level. If you have the budget where you can afford to just optimize for purchases, just set up the purchase conversion. And you can always set up the add to cart and checkout conversions as conversions that do not count in your conversion column. That way you can see the data and you can see, oh, my add to cart rate is this, my checkout rate is this, so on and so forth. But to sum it up, if I were focusing on whether to choose a conversion action or the account level conversions, I would go with account level conversions. Maybe in a few months, we'll test out as the agency, we'll test out with other accounts using the conversion action. But honestly, in all the times I've tested it, all conversions has worked best. I'm blessed.
Perfect, Raph. All right, sounds good. So let's move on to question number two. Craig asked, hey guys, I'm just starting out using YouTube ads and have watched many of your awesome videos. They're super informative. So when starting out with CPV campaigns to sell a product, should you still have a budget of at least 5 times your target CPA for each campaign? And should you go with more targeted keywords or more broad audience keywords to maximize sales conversions?
Hey guys, before we move on, I wanted to talk about something very special very quickly. If you are interested in running or are already running YouTube ads, this is for you. I wanted to introduce you to a few people that are killing it with YouTube ads. Mike made over $1.5 million with e-commerce YouTube ads. Bastian did over $300,000 for a client at a 10x ROAS. Boyd's making $5 grand a day with his course. Kale made a client $40,000 from just $8,000 in ad spend. Lloyd made a client $33,000 from $12,000 in ad spend. Do you know what the one thing they have in common? They're all part of my Expert YouTube Ads training program. We have the most technical YouTube ads course in the market with live weekly calls, a Facebook group where you can ask any question you want about YouTube ads, and more. And some of the best students spending thousands or even $10,000 a day on YouTube advertising. So there's a link below in the description to go book a demo call. Go and book a call to get a preview of the course and see if it's a fit for you and if it can help you get your YouTube ads to $5,000 a day or more. Now let's get back to the rest of this video.
Craig, thank you so much for your question. And I'm glad you enjoyed the videos. So to answer your first question, if you're selling a product online, if it's whether physical or digital, what we recommend is that you go with max conversions, not maximum CPV. Nowadays, max conversions is where you want to start with. Campaign objective, many beginners, they do tend to go with the sales objective, but you may be limited in terms of what targeting bid to use, correct? So we would recommend doing max conversions later on and then switch to target CPA. Which segues into your budget question. If you're referring to the bid, typically we're seeing that you usually need a bid 1.5 times or more your target CPA. in order for your campaigns to fire, right? If it doesn't fire, then you want to increase your bid gradually until you actually start seeing that your ads are being served. Is there anything that you would want to add to that, Raf?
Yeah, sure thing, Andres. So CPV campaigns, I don't use them at all. So that's the first thing. The second thing, let's say your target CPA is $10. You're asking whether your budget should be $5, 5 times your target CPA. So at a target CPA of $10, it's not so much about the campaign, it's about how many ads do you have and how long can those ads run in a time frame of 2 to 3 days. Because usually in algorithmic bidding, which is max conversion to target CPA, the first day is not going to be so hot. So you want to give it at least 2 to 3 days. So the better answer for you would be, let's say I have a $10 target CPA. I want each ad to run for 3 days. For that to happen, I'm allocating about $3 per ad. So it's fine with a budget of around, let's say you have 3 ads. So $3 per ad, that's $9 a day. So I'd say anything between $10 to $15 per day in that instance. If it was 1 ad, maybe even $5 a day, to be honest. So the budget is going to be, you want to spread out that budget across a few days. You don't want to leave that budget just in 1 day, ideally. And what was the follow-up on that question?
Should you go with more targeted keywords or more broad audience keywords to maximize success?
You gotta understand what's your goal. Is your goal the infamous ROAS word, or is your goal to make money? If it's ROAS, hey, you spend $10 a day and you make $30 and you're happy with that, fantastic. You want to be as specific as possible. If your goal is to make money and profit, which can be way superior with a lower ROAS, yet at larger scale, then you want to grab a broader audience. Having said that, you want to start out with the account with the best things possible. So you want to use keywords that are related to your product. You want to use keywords that are related to your competitor products, and you want to use keywords that describe your product or the problem that your product is solving. You could use that at the keyword level, and or you could use it as a custom intent for search terms level. I feel like those type of campaigns, while not as specific as placement targeting campaigns, they can be wide enough to get you started where they can scale a bit. And by scale a bit, I mean, I don't know, maybe $500, $1,000 a day, sometimes even more in some instances. But it'll give your Google data pixel enough information to get the right start from the beginning. Then from there, once you got things rocking and rolling, you can start testing out a lot broader audiences. But that's the approach I would take.
Got a question number 3 here. I think this was from Victor as well. So he said, narrowing audiences is pretty popular with Facebook advertising. What are your thoughts on narrowing audiences on YouTube? For example, narrowing a keyword campaign with a custom intent audience on top of it, or narrowing down a topic campaign with custom affinity.
So here's the thing. You have to make the decision, where do you want to go with this account? Any platform, ad platform, the more narrow you go, the more costly it is. Yes, will the conversion rates improve? Yes, maybe. But in some instances, it won't necessarily improve. But on top of it, your inventory becomes more scarce and is more expensive. And then when you want to, per se, scale, you're gonna have issues. So you're better off using broad targeting, because all in all, what's really gonna work here is your offer and your creative. If you're looking for a lever here, it's your creative. It's not like, oh, I'm looking for 25, 34-year-olds that are in the market for bathtubs, but are the top 10% household income, and search this keyword. If you do that, you're gonna get 0 impressions. So if you're looking for a stronger lever, I think you'd focus more on your creative. If you're talking about targeting, I've tried layer targeting. It has not worked great. I've done some things with demographics sometimes, and I don't really consider that layer targeting, and that works good in certain instances, especially if you have a product that's very, very expensive, There you may want to pay attention to the income level. And when it comes to age, 18 to 24, more times than not, does not convert as well. That's as far as layering as I personally go. I let the AI do its thing. It figures it out. And if it's not figuring it out after a while, then there's something wrong with my offer or there's something wrong with my creative.
Well put, Raf. And I can add to that is that, Facebook advertising is completely different. And I know we talk about this in various videos, the comparison between the two platforms. With Facebook advertising, the layered targeting, it can work at scale at times. It can work really well. With Google, you want to be, very binary and have isolated targeting options. As Raf said, I mean, those are going broader is what's going to work best for your account. And also, I'd add that you want to test things that may be already working for you. If you're already doing Facebook advertising, and you actually have, let's say, analytics installed. And I know we talk about analytics a lot as well, but look into your analytics and your data. If you have rich data that you can see your in-market audiences, your affinity audiences, see what's converting well and translate that over into the Google Ads settings and the targeting settings and just test it out.
You want a tip on how to translate it? Let's say you're going after cosmetics. Cosmetics is working great for you in Facebook. You may have an in-market campaign that has that. You also have keyword campaign, cosmetics. You can use brands. You can use major stores. And these are all your seed audiences. You can use them as keywords, custom intent for search terms, specific type of cosmetics and specific brands. And that's what you start with as far as seed audiences.
Perfect. All right. So let's move on to the next question. Marco, his question is, hello everyone, do you know why a YouTube in-stream ad placements that has been converting well for about a month suddenly stops converting well? Is there ad fatigue also for YouTube ads? What would you do to fix the problem? Placements typically don't work well at scale. You're not gonna see consistent results with placements for the most part, at least from my experience. Maybe Raf has a different take. I'll let him speak on that in a bit. But I would try out different other targeting options, not necessarily just placements. If you're just going for those specific videos that you want your ads to show on, or let's say you just, you're too stuck on that placement targeting option, then try different videos, right? There is a tool that you can use where you can pull a whole bunch of videos and you'll be able to try different ones. But yeah, like ad fatigue does exist in YouTube ads, so you're gonna wanna test more creative. So it may be that, you're only testing, let's say, 3 different creative with those placement videos. So the people that are watching these videos, sure, like there might be new audiences, or people, new users, let's say, watching these other videos where you're placing your ad. But at the end of the day, if it's not converting well now, it can be that, just those videos, people are not reacting to them anymore, right? They're not clicking there, right? So you have to also review your metrics, review your CTR, and look at the trends. Look at your data, your time frames, and see if there's a trend. If your click-through rate is going down, right? And obviously your costs are going up. So you want to be able to test more ads, so you can continue with that same targeting option if that's what you want to do. But the recommendation and how I would fix this is probably not doing placements. I'd probably try out different targeting settings, such as custom intent, custom affinity, right, or the in-market audiences, and see if we can get your funnel to convert better with those.
So to expand on that, now think about it. You have placement targeting, so you're targeting X amount of videos. That has a finite audience. Yes, they're the lowest hanging fruit. They're the most likely to convert. But it's going to come to a point that only so many people see those videos. And lots of videos vary in their views. It varies on how recent their views are. You have a video that has 1 million views, but maybe 200 people have seen it recently. So if you want placement targeting to convert, you're going to have lots of placements. So if the same people are seeing the same ad over and over, ad fatigue is going to come quicker. Remember, you have contextual targeting, which is placements, is it's the closest to the bottom funnel. Then you have keywords, and then you have topic targeting, which is the broader of the contextual targeting. you want to take advantage of the Google AI and the fact that it does have all this information about what type of people would be similar to the people that you're looking for. So if you want less ad fatigue, you're going to have to go with the broader audiences. That means behavioral targeting, such as in-market, affinity, customer affinity, so on and so forth. But it is very normal to have ad fatigue on placement targeting. It could be, if you see the ad metrics the same, it could be the same people seeing your offer. If you see the ad metrics decreasing by ad metrics, like Andres mentioned, CTR, your cost per click going up, it could be just people tired of seeing the same ad. So a quick fix is you can try to edit that ad a little bit in the beginning of the video and then try testing it on those same placements. But ideally, if you're really looking for a long-term project, you really want to start testing other audiences as well. At the same time, making new creatives. Andres?
Perfect, Raf. Thank you for that. So I hope that's clear, Marco, if you're watching this. Let's move on to the next question. So Ahmed says, I'm launching my first proper test campaign using the training, and there's a few points I'm confused with and need clarifying. Please let me know if my plan and understanding is correct. So he has his marketing plan laid out this way. It's a book call funnel to a 3,000 euro offer. Testing budget is 3,000, so that's 200 euros a day. Foundations, he's got 30 audiences, 3 ads, and his testing campaign plan, he has 4 campaigns with $50 50 euro daily budget each, 1 campaign, 1 ad group, and 3 ads. So his questions are, and I guess he's got a couple here, so let's just answer one by one, if that's okay. So have I set up the budget amount of campaigns to do at one time correctly?
Well, there are a lot of factors that are missing here to properly respond to this question. For example, how are they running the funnel? Are you running it to a lead first and then a book call? Are you running it straight to a book call? These are all things to take into account. Having said that, let's make a hypothetical example. You have a 3K offer and you are running to the landing page, someone signs up, and then someone books the call. Let's just say that's how it works. If you have a 3K offer, I'd say it's safe to say that 10% of the people should convert. So if you're trying to break even, you should have $300 a book call or euros. If you have the lead first before the book call, a decent funnel, 10% of those people become book calls. What does that mean? 10% of 300 is $30. That should be your lead cost, and that should be $300 should be, I'm just going to refer to this in dollars for the rest of the video. $300 should be your book call if you want to break even. Now, just throwing out benchmark numbers out there. $100 a book call is attainable. $100 to $200 a book call is attainable. Let's just say $150 for this specific product. And taking that into account, your lead cost would be $15. So $15 a lead, $150 a book call. 1 out of 10 closes, it costs you $1,500 to make the 3K. So that's your profit. Those are healthy benchmarks to aim for. Whether you make it better or not, it depends on you. Now, I mentioned those benchmarks because that's how you're going to determine what budget makes sense for you. As I mentioned earlier in the video, your budget, or at least a rule of thumb that I like to use, is going to be based on what type of target CPA I'm getting. I can try to get the budget that I have available and a period of time of about 3 days. So let's just use the $15 lead goal, right? So if we have 3 ads, I would like for each ad to spend at least the $15, or let's say I'm going for 2 times CPA, the $30. I want to spend $30 across 3 days, each ad. So 30, 30, 30, that would mean $90 a day per campaign. Now you have all these other audiences that you want to test. correct?
Correct.
That's 30 audiences.
Yep.
Okay, so if you have a $100 campaign, another $100 campaign, and I like to stick one audience per campaign. So that's tricky because you really want to test other audiences. And it's the biggest problem is you don't know which ad works, which ad is going to give you your metrics. So the way you have it set up, $50 a day, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer to get the data that you want, but that's fine if you want to test the different audiences. So using this hypothetical situation, given the budget that you've given us and not knowing how the funnel's set up, but supposing it's a lead versus a book call, I'd say the setup looks solid to me as far as the budgeting per campaigns.
Perfect. All right, we got a second question from the same person here. The main thing I'm confused on is how to make the testing audiences to test, right? So I think he's referring to kind of the order, right? So he says, I understand the order of testing is 1, retargeting, 2, placements, 3, keywords, and 4, custom affinity audiences. So my 2 cents on this is that, you know,
Hey, this is going to be really quick. I wanted to introduce you to a few people that are killing it with YouTube ads. Mike made over $1.5 million with e-commerce YouTube ads. Bastian did over $300,000 for a client at a 10x ROAS. Boyd's making $5 grand a day with his course. Hale made a client $40,000 from just $8,000 in ad spend. Lloyd made a client $33,000 from $12,000 in ad spend. Do you know what the one thing they have in common? They're all part of my expert YouTube ads training program. We have the most technical YouTube ads course in the market with live weekly calls, a Facebook group where you can ask any question you want about YouTube ads and more. And some of the best students spending thousands or even $10,000 a day on YouTube advertising. So there's a link below in the description to go book a demo call. Go and book a call to get a preview of the course and see if it's a fit for you and if it can help you get your YouTube ads to $5,000 a day or more. Now let's get back to the rest of this video.
If you have a funnel that already has a traffic source, you know, you already have it converting somewhere else, then again, you know, look at your data, see what's already working for you and start with those. If you have remarketing lists, by all means, go ahead and create remarketing campaigns. If you have there's a lot of variables here that would kind of determine what you want to test first, right? What would be the low-hanging fruit? In terms of the targeting. Placements, I probably wouldn't do placements as the top 2, right? So you have placements as number 2. I would generally, again, go for what's already working. If you don't have data for that in that aspect, I would go still with a little bit more broader and keyword campaigns, as well as custom intent. I didn't see custom intent in your list here. So custom intent, we'll go that in other videos, but it's basically people that are already searching for specific topics, products or services on the web, and you can actually just create an audience based on those searches, right? Be really specific. You can even take one keyword and have relative keywords and just, you bulk them into one audience that's, searching for that specific topic, right? So that would be my own, my 2 cents on that. I don't know if Raf, you have anything to add on that?
Of course I do. So to expound on that, Google, I want to say sometime last year, custom audiences, they had them named differently. Right now, all custom audiences are basically custom intent audiences. Within the custom intent audiences, you have people that are interested in these type of things. You have people that are searching for these type of things. You have people that visit these type of websites, or you have people that use certain types of apps. You have people that have visited certain types of locations. More times than not, when we talk about custom intent audiences, we are referring to the search terms. Now, let's say you have the 4 campaigns. I like to start one audience per campaign. If you're asking us what be your best bets, one of the options, as Andres mentioned, is if you're running on another platform, try to translate that platform. Let's just say you don't have that platform. You're not running it on a platform, but it's working organic, so on and so forth. If you have Google Analytics installed, look at the in-market audiences or affinity audiences that have the highest correlation, meaning the highest conversion rate compared to the other audiences. If you don't have anything, you're starting from scratch, I don't have anything, no idea. Then that's when you go the same process. Okay, what does this offer do? What is it related to? And you write down those keywords. What are the competitors that are running it? And what's a generic problem? What's a problem that it solves? You write down these generic keywords, and I would go with keyword audiences and custom intent for search term audiences. Those are the most likely to get the ball rolling. Make sure, please make sure you get Google Analytics installed. So going forward, now you're sending traffic to the offer, you have broader audiences to go out. Because when you're running an offer for the 3K, that's not something that you're trying to spend $200 a day in the long term. That's something that, I mean, we've seen it ourselves. You're trying to spend $2, $5, $10, $15, $20,000 a day. And the only way you're going to accomplish that is with the broader audiences. But getting back to the initial question, I would start mostly with custom intent for search terms and or maybe keywords. And that's it.
Perfect. Great. So he goes on to say, so in my list of 30 first audiences, do I add all 4 of these audience avenues, or do I, for example, start with placements as I don't have retargeting yet? Okay, so he clarifies that. And I first have 30 placement audiences to initially test. So again, I think that we just covered those answers. You know, we wouldn't start with placements, right? We've already seen it on different accounts, different clients, and they just don't perform. They don't outperform the custom intent, keyword audiences, and the broader audiences for that matter. So let's move on to the next one. Also, when I make a placement audience, is it one video or a group of videos? So this is an easy answer. You want to do videos that are monetized, right? So there's a tool called TubeSift. If you haven't heard of it, you haven't used it, check it out. TubeSift might have a link below here somewhere that you can take a look, and you'll be able to basically find, based on the keyword of your product or offer, you can come up with a list of videos that are monetized. You can filter by monetized videos, and you'll be able to add those in bulk inside the Google Ads targeting setting, right? Inside the YouTube video placement. Now he has a couple other questions here. If I make a keyword audience, is it one keyword or group of related keywords? Raf, you want to answer that one?
Sure. It's going to depend on how broad the keyword is, how many searches it has. Something like if I wrote money as a keyword, I'm going to get tons and tons of videos. So it doesn't make sense to have a group of keywords. But let's say, how do I make money online drop shipping? Starting drop shipping. A drop shipping course. Usually 3 to 4, I try to keep it to 3 to 4 words per keyword phrase, and usually group 3 to 5. Try to keep it themed, you know, starting a drop shipping store, starting Shopify, and then the other one could be scaling Shopify business, scaling drop shipping, so on and so forth. And to go back on the placement targeting part, you make sure you want to target the actual video placement, not the channel specifically, the video placement. And you want to stick as many of those as possible if you're really stuck on doing placement targeting. But I will say this, all these questions are important, but the most important lever that you need in YouTube ads is a creative. Your offer obviously has to work, and if it's proven to work, you have to know your numbers. Once you know your offer is working, you got to work on the creative, because it just comes down to math. If you know that your offer converts at X%, so you're going to know, okay, I need my leads to be at this price, and then you have to look realistically. Is that going to work on YouTube? Not everything works on YouTube that works on Facebook. Having said that, if you want something that's higher quality, if you have a higher allowable CPA, then YouTube is definitely the way to go, and it can scale efficiently. When it comes to ad disapprovals and things of that nature, the account managers will always work with you. But I want you to drill this in your mind. The most important thing that you can do in YouTube as a lever is the creative. If you're having a creative that has a low CTR, meaning anything less than 1%, you're getting $3, $5, $6 cost per clicks. It's not going to work. It doesn't matter if you layer 30 audiences together, if you use keywords, placements, nothing like that's going to work. So 1, make sure your offer converts. 2, work on your creative. And you're going to see that all the audience targeting, while yes, custom intent for search terms, keyword targeting, they work best as lower hanging fruit. But we have campaigns, I launch campaigns with no targeting sometimes, just because the offer and the creative work. So I think if you focus on that more than anything, you're gonna see success sooner than later. Andres?
Great, Ref. That's a great point, what he makes. So we hope you enjoyed the video. We would love to hear from you. So if you have any, any questions for us, or right now if you're running YouTube ads and, let's say you want to get some high-level consulting done, feel free to click on the link below to join our YouTube ad buyers group. And if you're interested in more in-depth training, a little bit more of the nitty-gritty of the YouTube ad setup, targeting options, and just really getting all training YouTube ads, then go ahead and buy our course. The link is right there below, where you can actually join a private student group that we have, and we'll be able to answer all the questions. You'll be able to go on live training calls with Rafael and Shash, and they'll be able to answer any questions that you have about your pertinent offers. So again, thanks for watching. Remember to like this video, leave us a comment below, hit subscribe, turn on all your notifications so that way you're notified when we drop some more YouTube ad knowledge. We'll see you on the next video.